Well, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be sharing this video with you all today. This is the second video of my series, Sellers on Amazon, which basically I'm bringing out sellers in which I know and asking them to share their story. So in today's video, Carrie, who is one of my clients, is going to be sharing her story, the ups, the downs, the good, the bad, the ugly. I'm really excited specifically with Carrie's story because she even inspires me. She's such an incredible woman. She's a mother, she's a wife, she's a grandmother. She still works a full-time job. And in the last 6 months, she's done over $500,000 in sales. Carrie started selling in 2020. And today at the end of 2021, which is when I interviewed her, she is on a roll to hit 7 figures soon. And she is someone who I believe is extremely relatable. It's not that she just started selling some, random product and it all was smooth from day one. She started selling a random product and it didn't go well. And instead of lifting her hands up, she re-strategized. She had a look at what she did wrong in the first product and how she can fix that. And she changed her entire mindset towards this and really started to build a brand. She did it. She's been doing an amazing job. She's had many ups and downs, but she's so resourceful. She's so resilient. And I'm just excited for you all to hear her story. So if you're new here, my name is Sharon Evan and I am an Amazon seller. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, and I'm also a YouTuber. I share the story of my journey and also tutorials around e-commerce and Amazon. So if you're interested in that, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. I also do one-on-one coaching like I also did with Carrie, and I encourage you to have a look at the description and see the different coaching programs that I have. All right, so we're about to get into it. Don't forget to subscribe and also don't forget to hit that like button and also give us a comment so we know what you thought about the video. All right, let's get into it. I'm so excited to have Carrie on today, who has... Hi, how are you, Carrie?
Good. And yourself?
I'm good. I'm super excited to have you on. We've been speaking a long time about doing this. Life happened. So we're finally doing it today. And Carrie, when did we first start working together? Like 2019? Or am I exaggerating?
No, I believe it's been about 2 years. Mm-hmm.
So Carrie is basically, we're going to be sharing your successful journey from selling on Amazon, but we're going to tell it exactly how it really went because you went through a lot of ups and downs, and we're going to tell you a story from the very beginning until up to today. But before we start, do you want to just give a little intro to like your background before you got into Amazon and how you found out about Amazon, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah. Well, like most people, I'm working a corporate job for a, Fortune 500 company. I went the traditional route with getting my bachelor's and then going on to get my master's before I even knew anything about Amazon and selling on Amazon. And actually how we began selling on it is actually kind of a neat story because this kind of talks about my personality a little bit too. So our son and daughter-in-law came over and they were like, oh yeah, we were looking into selling on Amazon. So immediately I pick up my phone and I start Googling, I start researching Amazon FBA. And I looked at my husband and I said, we can do this. And so that's all it took. It took me to look it up and decide we can do this. And then I just ran full throttle, immediately diving into it.
Awesome. So you started off, so we will cut to the end for a second so that people understand why it's worth for them to watch the entire video. Today, you guys, how much did you do in the last 12 months, for example, in revenue?
Yes, 500,000, and most of that has been since July.
Wow.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it was after the launch of our third product, and it really took off, and most of the income came from July until December. Yes.
Cool. And then how much do you think of that? What now, of course, you guys keep reinvesting into your business, but on a profit level, how much do you think of that was profits?
Yeah, I would say 40% of that.
Amazing. So you guys really should watch the video until the end so you can understand how Carrie got here. Why? Because you had a lot of ups and downs, and you're about to launch a lot of new products as well. So let's start off with the journey and with the beginning. So you and I first, did for a long period of time, quite a few coaching calls, and we started with your first product, which we don't mind saying because you no longer sell it. So I'll let you say what it was.
Yeah. So when we first, I went through the traditional route of finding, a product using helium-10. And so we started selling spy camera detectors. So I will give a disclaimer because, as we know, people are going to hear this and they're immediately going to begin to research it. Do not sell it. It's a highly oversaturated niche. And the thing is that you get a lot of returns because people don't know how to use the product. And it's kind of one of those subjective type of products where you have to use it right. And if you don't, then you're going to get a lot of returns, which we were definitely getting with it. So
awesome. So that was the first product. When we started, I'm pretty sure that from the beginning, I was like, Carrie, like I'm a bit worried about this product, but we were trying to get rid of all the stock that you had from what I remember. And you were selling that, but from memory, it was still profitable, wasn't it?
It was profitable. Yes. Even despite all of the returns and all of the issues we were having. I mean, it was a constant struggle because it wasn't a product that we designed, like our current product. We bought it and then branded it. Everyone was constantly stealing our images, our listing, and all that. So it was a constant fight with the spy camera detectors. And so it was definitely a battle, but yeah, it was actually still profitable, and we were actually still making money despite all of the obstacles.
I also remember that there were, like you said, there were certain ways that you kept getting returns because people didn't understand how to use it. But I also remember that I was like, we need to change some images. And you are an example of someone who, like, anytime I've said, Carrie, we should do this or that, you've always done it. You haven't worried about like the money side of it, because getting professional photos and things like that, it is expensive, but you've always done it. And I think we changed your images at some point from memory to make it, try to make the functionality of the product a little bit more understandable from the images. And then you also had a big problem, which by you going through this problem later saved me when I went through because I knew what to look for because you had gone through it. So let's tell everyone what happened when was it, 2020 or something like that?
I believe so. Yep, 2020. So somebody had taken our listing and they listed it on the Amazon Canadian market, and they intentionally and maliciously listed it with just a slew of like drug names. And so Amazon shut us down, and we were working on it for weeks to get this back up. And the issue was it wasn't actually our account. It was somebody else's account, but because they listed it under the same ASIN, they shut us down. And so due to all of the issues that we were having with the product, we decided not to fight legally to get it back up and running. because we just decided to cut our losses with that. But it was definitely frustrating because, despite all the issues we were having with the product, it was actually selling, and we were actually one of the highest price ones, spy detectors as well. And so, yeah, we decided not to pursue the legal means to get us back up and running. Obviously, if anything like that happened with this brand, we would be on it immediately.
Of course. You went through that, and then I went through that, and actually I think it happened to both of us in the same year, but for me it was different. Somebody had uploaded a flat file through my Canadian account and uploaded and changed the same type of keywords that you had, like really weird stuff like lion's ear and stuff like that. Remember?
Yeah.
It was like a strange cue. And because it happened to me on Prime Day, because you had gone through it, I already knew to look through the Canadian. Otherwise, it could have taken me days to understand what had happened. So basically what happened was, for us, I still think it was someone internal, but never mind, had uploaded, because you could see the flat file that was uploaded in the Canadian account of ours, and they had changed all of the keywords to terrible keywords, and it took down our American listings on Prime Day. And the only reason I knew to straight away go and look and check Canada and Mexico was because of what you had gone through. So I'm terribly sorry it happened to you, but at least later it gave me that experience of knowing also, what to look for. And also, if anything like that ever happens to you again, straight away what to look for. But the amazing thing is that even though all the stuff that you were going through, you didn't give up. So I remember you came to me with this product idea, and you asked me what I think about it from the way that I remember it. And I was like, I think this is a great idea. I think it will really, really work. And I could already envision what you're now doing, which is the amount of different versions of this that you could do. And I'll let you tell a little bit about that. But as someone who watched you from the beginning and sort of was very involved in the beginning of your brand, I can say that this time, like, you did everything right, from differentiation to design change to understanding who the buyer avatar is and making the right design for that exact buyer avatar, to images from day one, to the copyright from day one, to brand registry from day one. Like, you did everything right this time with brand building in mind, rather than with the first product, it was with selling a random product in mind. Where else here, like today, the sky's the limit. You're possibly going to get into retail soon. And there's many things that you can do with this brand. So I'll let you start off with, from your memory, with the beginning of this amazing brand that you've now built.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'll backtrack a minute, Sharon, because so when we first started with the spy camera detector, I had a whole different mentality, and it was all centered around cheap, right? So how can we get the images and everything for cheap? The least expensive as possible. And so when I met with you for the first time and you first sent me to 𝗲𝗏𝗏, and then I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much more than what we've been paying. But it wasn't until I actually started working with 𝗲𝗏𝗏 and some of the other people, I'm like, okay, it's how they do things that set them apart from what we were doing. It's a night and day difference between the images we have now than the images we had on the spy camera detector. So yeah, this was sent around, building a brand and then starting off, from the get-go with the best of everything. We didn't spare any expense. From the videos, from using, my brand,
Belinda.
yes,
yeah, my brand videos.
From using them to 𝗲𝗏𝗏, from using Sasha, it was the best from the beginning. And even how we packaged it, everything cost a little bit more but we knew that we had to really, sell our brand and sell the product, and the packaging was part of that. And so that's kind of how we got to where we are.
It's not even just that. I remember that, so just for the people who are watching this, Milana is my graphics designer from Pixel Nuts Studio, and I'll put a link to her and everyone that I mentioned in the description. So you and I sat down and created the briefs together in the beginning. Yes. Really what that means is we made together a Word document, and we named each image 1, image 2, image 3. And we together went through what it needs to be in every single image, what is important. So that involves really understanding the product, the features of the product, the buyer avatar, what's important to the buyer avatar, what are the competitors already giving, really understanding the entire niche. And both of us understanding that, because, I was really involved in the beginning as well. Both of us understanding that helped us to then create that brief. So the reason I talk about this is because not that many people go to the extent of doing this. They usually try and either let the photographer or the graphics designer do it themselves, and they're not going to know your product as well as you know your product from the very beginning. And not only that, the photographers and graphics designers will be able to make the best images when you tell them what to put in the images. And you should know what to put in the images, because you should know your niche inside out. So we went in, you and I, to the T, where you and I even made even with the exactly what the videos need to look like, right? Yes. The exact where it needs to be in this place, and what kind of people need to be in this, and what angle, like everything. And I think that along with your design change, which is one of the most important things, is what helped also, because you did everything from the very beginning, helped you get sales from day one at a much higher price point. So you're the highest priced in your niche, and one of the best sellers in your niche. Just to give context, can we say more or less how much the product costs you to make?
Yes. So the product cost us around $8.10 per item.
And then we sell it at around ballpark pricing? 40 something. So we can say that you guys on average make, I think it's like above $15 profit, something like that per unit, right?
Above.
Yeah, above $15. And the reason that is also, I'm pretty sure that we also optimized your packaging from day one. So we did. So the reason all this stuff is important to say is because I will say that there were ups and downs because you launched another type of products, which I don't remember. I don't know now if you still sell. I haven't looked. The other type of product at the same time, that at some point you thought about stopping, because ever since COVID, the prices started going crazy to bring them into Amazon, right? No, it didn't. What happened then with there was something, or maybe you needed to reduce it because Amazon charged the fees or something like that. The other product.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So we created a product, and the packaging was too big.
Yeah.
And Amazon was going to charge more than what we were even going to sell it for. So last minute, we had to revamp the packaging in order to, so we made some money. And then, so after we ran out of that, we ended up going back to the original design, and we just made everything smaller. We had to make, the product smaller in order to sell it and to make a profit. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I was saying that because I remember that with you, everything was, apart from that little thing, which we did fix, everything was done just right from the beginning. So you mentioned Sasha. Sasha's the copywriter that I work with, and Sasha did your entire branding. She came up with a brand name. She came up with a lot of different things. She did your slogans. She did your all your A+ content layouts, everything. And this is stuff not to be taken for granted that you put money into from the beginning. This was a brand from the beginning, not a product. It was always about a brand. It was never about a product.
No.
From the very beginning. So how much time went between the first product and the second product, which is same buyer avatar, but different niche?
Yes. So we launched the first product in December of 2020. And then we launched the second one about mid-year. And then, no, hold on. We launched the second one a couple months later, and then we launched the third one mid-year of 2020.
The second one was different product, same buyer avatar.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So that second product, which I'm pretty sure we're going to test my memory here. I'm pretty sure we originally talked about putting the second product as a bundle for the first product, but then eventually, the idea was for it to be a bundle with the first product. And then the first product ended up being sold on its own. And then you sold the other product on its own.
Yes.
So let's talk about that, because that's exactly what I preach. And why am I asking you to talk about that is because you identified a buyer avatar and you identified a buyer avatar that fits a niche. Okay. And then you created, and then today we know of many products that buyer avatar could have. I mean, if you were given now, like, I don't know, $5 million, you'd probably launch many different types of products for that buyer avatar.
Yep.
But so we found these two different things that you could then go and make many different designs of these two different things. And there's probably other things that could be added as well. But the thing is, all for the same type of buyer. And eventually, hopefully one day you'll also have many different types of things for the same buyer avatar. And that's why you went hardcore into branding from day one.
Yes.
And it works.
It does work. And honestly, I mean, talking to you kind of makes me kind of retrospect on where we started. And I remember those long conversations because, when I first started off with the spy camera detector, I was working with a guy who I now know is a fraud. He's a scam. I remember asking him, how much money are you earning a month? And he's like 10 grand. And now I know that's like nothing, I mean, but as somebody who was ignorant in the world of Amazon, FBA, I mean, we spent thousands of dollars getting coaching from this guy. And then as soon as I met you, I thought, oh my gosh, I know Sharon's the real deal. And it was a night and day difference between your knowledge and his knowledge. And so, I mean, I remember sitting down and talking through everything, like you said. I mean, each picture, everything, from the video, and then, because we knew it had to be right from the get-go in order to build this brand awareness. And so we didn't want to skimp on money this time like we did with the spy camera detectors. And so, I mean, we were all in. And so it was definitely, you were definitely a huge part of our success. So
thanks, Carrie. I think it's first of all, thank you for that. But also I think that it's a lot. Honestly, like, all the credit goes to you, because first of all, you took risks. Second of all, you believed in your own journey, and you also listened to things that I was saying that a lot of people are like, look, you need to use the best photographer, you need to use the best videographer, you need to do this. And they're like, oh my God, you want me to spend like $5,000 and I haven't even started. And I'm like, but you won't have the same results if you don't.
Right.
Not in your niche. There are some niches that you can get away with not having but why would you not have the best from the beginning? Because you saw the difference. Even with the spy detector, when we changed the images there, even then, I'm pretty sure there was
increase in sale and
terrible
sales.
Products. Still, there was already an increase in sale from there.
Yeah, it was.
So today you now have 3 different products currently selling, right?
3. Yep. And we're getting the 4th one getting ready to be shipped out in like 2 days. And we've got 4 more on the back burner.
4 more on the back burner. So let's talk about what your biggest struggle with success was. So we know what the struggle was with a shitty product. And the thing is that there is actually a lot more, in my experience, there's a lot more struggles with successful products and with a successful brand than what there is with the crappy ones. Because with the bad products or the products that are not the best to continue with, eventually they either don't sell well or you stop. And here, if you want to either go through an exit or actually turn this into what you live off, you have to grow. And in order to grow, there's a lot of pains. So let's talk about what hurdles and what was the biggest struggles that came with the success of this brand.
Yeah, so there's definitely been hurdles. One of the huge ones is cash flow. Cash flow has been the biggest hurdle. Like a lot of people, we would go through these cycles where we would get our product in and, and then immediately start selling great. But before we know it, because we could only buy so much with the cash flow that we had, I mean, in a few weeks we were out. We'd order 2,000 and 3 weeks it'd be gone. And so
your products have a pretty long lead time, right? What's the lead time to make them?
Yeah, well, a new mold is about six weeks for the product, and then to make it, you're talking another month. So at least, so you're talking about 3 months. So,
and then shipping time.
And then shipping time. Yes. Mm-hmm. Now,
so every order is a large order because you need to. Yeah. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah. Well, and so that was the main issue. And so, since we launched this brand in 2020, and I actually have to backtrack, we actually launched our 3rd product July of this year, which is where the 500,000 primarily came from, was after we launched that. But it was cash flow. And so, my husband and I were talking and we're like, what are we going to do about it? So we went through the traditional means. I reached out to seller funding. We tried to get a loan. They said no, our brand didn't have enough reviews yet. It hadn't been in business long enough. They didn't want to loan us any money. We tried Amazon lending. They wouldn't lend us any money. And so finally I worked with, our factory and my sourcing agent. And I was like, listen, I said, we can't make the type of money that we want to make because we keep running out. And then like our checks will start off as being tiny. And then by the time they work up to being a decent size, we're running out of product again. And then we're out for another month or 2. And so we worked with the factory. I mean, we have built a relationship with them, a rapport. And so they worked out a deal with us where essentially they make the product and we pay them every 2 weeks and there's no interest on it. And so, I mean, there's no really terms. We wrote something up with the minimum amount depending on sales and the maximum amount, based on sales. Obviously, as we add in more products, that maximum amount will definitely increase. But yeah, I mean, and that is what has allowed us actually now to get to this point. We just ordered, a large quantity, thousands of our product. And a lot of that is already almost gone. And we just ordered the largest quantity yet of over 14,000 plus, of these products. And so this will allow us to stay, in stock long enough to have that steady income where now the factory's earning money, but now we have a steady income coming in. And they're also willing, to kind of support us adding in the new products too. So because they see that we are consistent and honest, so we consistently give them the money that we've talked about. So they're willing to do that for us.
I think that first of all, that's amazing that you worked out terms with the with the supplier. Second of all, it's also just a testament to your resilience, because I sent you to Sellers Funding and I honestly believed that they would give you money. Basically, I believe that
I was kind of sad. I was sad when they didn't, but this actually ended up being better. But you are the one who gave me the idea for that, because you mentioned about, have you talked to your factory about, giving you terms? And I thought, well, let me try this. So we tried it. We were able to pay off our product in the set amount of time. And so now that they know that we're going to pay and that we're going to do what we said, then they're willing to support us.
And you're doing it.
And we're
doing it.
Yes.
Yeah. They're willing to support it, which is so important to show how just try. Worst case scenario, the answer is no. Like you had with, so here's the thing. You had a no from Sellers Funding. You had a no from Amazon's lending.
Yes.
You also came to me to see if there's someone I know that can invest, because I speak with a lot of investors, and I did do my best. But also, on the one hand, I know the potential because I helped you develop the brand in the beginning, and on the other hand, you really hadn't been around for long enough for the kind of investors that I also work with. And you don't know this, but your sourcing agent also sent me a WeChat asking, am I getting anywhere with finding an investor? And I was like, I don't know if you know this. Do you know that?
No, I didn't. No.
Because I work with the same sourcing agent as yours. And she reached out to me and also asked me, do you have an investor, or do you know someone that can? And I was like, no, I don't. And now hearing that you actually went and, got those terms. So you got to know from Sellers Funding, you got to know from Amazon, not intentionally. You got to know from me. I wish I could have found someone.
No, it's okay.
and then 3 no's, and you didn't quit. You just went and kept trying until you found the person that said yes. And it could not have been a better scenario, because no matter what other version you would have found to this, the best one is to get terms with your supplier, because it gives you space to breathe. It's you don't feel strangled, because you don't have it's a scary thing to have all of your cash flow, all the money that you have put into this. I do want to backtrack for a second and speak about the second product that you had an issue with it, because now as we talk more, things are coming back to me. So I remember that you sent me a message and you said it's not going to be profitable anymore. We're thinking of stopping it, the second product. And I was like, in my mind, are you crazy? You can't stop it. And together we were thinking of ideas. I was like, well, why don't we go back to putting it with the first product and bundling it? Why don't you create a bundle? And then, the second thing was, well, can we optimize? Can you make it smaller? And you went and did it. You made it smaller and you made it work. Right?
Yeah, we made it smaller, and we actually revamped it based on feedback that we were getting about the product. So I think that's another thing that is important, is even if it costs you money, you have to listen to the customer. So if you're getting feedback and it seems to be consistent feedback, then you have to take a look at your product and say, okay, what can we do to change this? So what we did is we worked with the factory and we're like, okay, this is the feedback we're getting. So what can we do to change this, to make this better? So we do rely a lot on our factory's expertise, to kind of guide us and to give us that opinion, because they're the one who makes the product. Just like we do with the first product and all the preceding products that we're going to make, and so, we revamped it, and actually we've been out of stock of that for like 4 months. So now it's like a brand new relaunch all over again, because it, like everyone else, it sat on the port for about 4 months. So so
amazing.
But so you have to be able to look at your product and say, does something need to be changed? So like the very first product that we launched in this brand, we weren't getting the great reviews that we wanted. We were getting a lot of great reviews, but we noticed there was a problem with it. So then we redid the design, which cost us money. It cost us money to make the new design. But then after we did that, it solved that problem. And so I think that's the other thing, is that if you're getting some feedback on your product, I know people don't want to spend more money, but it's worth it if you can make your product better and then fix those issues, because it's kind of like what we say when you launch a product. You're like, you're looking at products in your niche and you're just like, okay, how can I make it better? What are people liking about it? What aren't people liking? How can I make it better? So it's kind of like that with your own product. If you're seeing an issue with it, you have to be willing to fix it, especially if you want to build a great brand with, being known for quality.
Which is also why you guys have gotten away with being the most expensive in your niche. I don't think there's anyone that's more expensive than you, but you sell just as much or better than everyone else. And it's because of the quality.
It's not just the quality.
It's the design. It's the design, quality. Yeah. It's the design. It's the quality. Now, if we talk for a second about differentiation, differentiation has to be seen from the search page. If your differentiation point cannot be seen from the search page, you don't have a good enough differentiation point. And your differentiation could hardcore be seen from the search page. I think that the fact that, so if we, obviously we're not going to talk about what types of products, but you didn't, like, let's just say if the product was a cup, for example, you didn't make a new cup. You took this cup and you changed the design of the cup. It's not a cup. We're giving an example. You can see on my lipstick. You took the design of this cup and you just changed the design to fit a certain buyer avatar. You didn't invent. You don't have to be an inventor. You didn't invent this product. You just found something that existed, changed the design to fit a certain buyer avatar, added this one other thing to it, put hardcore branding into it, and you sold from day one with 0 reviews from the beginning.
Day one. Yeah. And the great thing about our product is because the way that we did design it, so it kind of spans multiple niches. So, so we're not just hitting, one group, we're actually hitting multiple groups because of the way that we design it. And like you said, if you were scrolling through the page of that niche, I mean, ours stands out because it's the only one of its kind.
It does.
Well, it was actually somebody else has kind of tried to create one like ours now, but ours is still better.
I think you guys have gotten to a place where no matter because copycats will come, and even if copycats do come, I don't think that anyone will be able to compete against your branding today. Most of the competitors in your niche, I think, are Chinese still, or not still.
Yeah, a lot of them are. The new one that came out, they pretty much mimicked everything that we did.
Really? You have to show me this after so I can see it.
Yes, I will. It's as soon as we're off. Yep, I will definitely show you. So they pretty much mimicked, our listing, the images, everything. Now we did buy their product, because you should always be aware of your competitors to see if they're doing something better, because if they're doing something better than you, then you can't be afraid to change yours again. So we did look at their product. We we got it, we tested it, and we're like, okay, how does ours compare to this? And we walked away with ours is still better. And we did take away a couple things from the new seller that we're going to implement in ourselves, that will only make our branding better. But yeah, they but the difference is they took things that are already out there and designed it, where ours are all copyrighted. So no one can take anything that we do, because we actually work with 𝗲𝗏 and an illustrator to design our products. So because we want them to be unique.
Yeah. So I just want to, because sometimes when people hear a design of a product, they straight away think very, very expensive. Now, it's not that it's not expensive. It's just, we're not talking about a full-on invention. And it really is the example of the cup. So it's the same type of cup and just a different design on the cup that fits a very specific type of buyer avatar. And the design that you have on the thing that we're calling a cup is that's the main differentiation. Like,
Yes.
so you didn't invent the cup. That's what I also want people to understand is that you can take an existing product, but sell it to a specific niche. And, you know, and you don't have to try and target everyone. You can try and target that specific niche and make it work. You reminded me that something that's very important, competition. So you purchase from the very beginning all of your, the top competitors for both of the products that you had, because again, we said you've got same type of buyer avatar, two different types of niches. And I remember you and I sitting on the call and you showing me they have this, they have that. Do you think that we should have it? This is that. So like, there's so much thought that went into this from the beginning. You didn't go cheap on not buying your competitors' products. You didn't go cheap on photography, on branding, on even the slogan of the brand. I even remember you sent me like 7 different logos and said, which one do you think's the best? And different names and, you know, and it paid off because I believe that next year you'll hit 7 figures. Like you'll be there, especially with all the new designs coming in.
I believe next year will be multi 7 figures. Yeah. So
I agree.
Definitely high up there. And actually we're at the point now where my husband's going to quit his job.
Yay.
So we are at that point, and we believe that after we launch these next 3 products, that I will also be doing this full time, because you know we've done the numbers, and you know we figured out if you are selling X, you know, even 200 at $40 some a day, you know, everyone can
live off that
there. Yes.
Yeah, you can live off that. And then eventually, I'm pretty sure in sometime the next couple of years, an exit will be the next thing.
Yes, the exit is definitely the next thing. I mean, we are expanding. So right now we are working with a company to get our product in boutiques. So we're working on that aspect of it. We're also working on, you know, possibly getting our products on QVC and some other places. So so we have big plans that we're moving forward with right now. But the exit, yes, is definitely 18 to 24 months from now, we will definitely begin to look into selling.
Look into that. I think that, I mean, after the recording of this, you and I will sit down and talk about some stuff, but you guys have done really, really well without even doing certain things that are the next, like social media, you haven't really done yet the way that it could be, right?
No, yeah, and that's actually where you know, I'm trying to get that up and running right now. I've been trying to look for a virtual assistant to help with that because you know, because I am still working full time and I don't have time to do everything. And so that is actually one of the things I want to talk to you about. You know, after the call. Yeah,
we'll talk about that. But I think the reason I wanted to bring it up is because you've done so well
without it.
You haven't done any of that yet. I'm pretty sure you probably haven't hardcore worked with like influencers yet. Amazon Live. I think there's a lot of things that if we now add that as the next step, I think you could even be getting to 7 figures a lot quicker. We have to say that, you know, when we say 7 figures, of course, we're talking about revenue, but you guys have a 40% margin. So you've got an amazing margin. Let's really quickly talk about the margin and then we'll start to wrap it up. But
okay.
Why am I saying this is because I always tell people that leaving wiggle room is extremely important because there are so many unknown things that could happen. And if your margins are already very, very slim and suddenly COVID happens and shipping prices go up to $25K a container, or suddenly Amazon decides to change something and your FBA fees go up, or Amazon scans your product as bigger than what it is, or shit happens, basically, you need to have wiggle room. And then also there's PPC. So you guys have seen lots of ups and downs with shipping prices and also having to buy more inventory, all sorts of different things. How much easier do you think it makes it that you have that wiggle room? Because the worst case scenario, you'll still be profitable, just maybe a little bit less.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's important, and obviously we're always trying to optimize cost and all that. And even with the shipping, like we do something called fast shipping. It's a lot more expensive, but our product arrives in 6 weeks.
Mm.
I mean, from, leaving China to actually arriving to Amazon and or to the warehouse. And so we decided that, for us, that's where having the wiggle room comes in. Um, that is more important to us, making sure that we have product that's going to arrive in a timely manner by using a more expensive fast shipping method than what we did with I was just talking about our second product where it sat on the port for 4 months and we'd been out of stock, for 4 months. And so, I think that is where it's important to have some wiggle room, where you can still be profitable, but you can maybe spend more, maybe like what I'm saying, in shipping in order to make sure that it gets there in, a
And
fast
PPC that can change as well. Cost can
Mhm.
change at different. What do you think the percentage of sales that come through PPC are today compared to organic for you guys?
Yeah, our PPC is our numbers are very low. I mean, the percentage. So a lot of the sales, and honestly, I haven't actually looked at that lately, but our A cost is, I want to say it's like around high 20s, 30s for the brand,
Mm.
which is pretty good margin. So that
Yeah.
means I would say 70% of our sales are coming organically.
Organically. Yeah.
Mhm.
We haven't had a PPC call in ages. I should
No,
have a
no,
look at
no,
your
we haven't,
PPC.
and we did something different, with this brand, and it's different because I think different brands may do different things for PPC. So like this one, I started off doing, and where we get tons of sales is product targeted from day one. I know a lot of people don't do that from day one, but we did. And from day one, we were getting sales,
Mm.
targeting our competitors. And then we kind of broadened that product targeting to, different niches that, related to our product. And those are doing very well. So
Mm.
sometimes, you got to think out of the box a little bit with your PPC too, and say, what goes along with this, and I would say 80% of our sales come from product targeted PPC.
Yeah. The PPC sales, 80% of the
Yes.
PPC sales.
Yep.
And then also, what you mentioned there is we'll call it like a lot of your PPC sales. We haven't had a PPC calls in months, but I remember a lot of your sales came from complementary products.
Yes.
So for example, if we'll say that this is a cup with a sloth on it, right? And then someone was buying, I don't know, this AirPods thing with a sloth on it. It was going after sloth lovers
Yes.
as an
Mhm.
example. I
Yes,
love using the
exactly.
sloth as an example. So I should have used owls because owls are actually my thing, but whatever. Anyway, I think that that's something also for people to think about because a lot of your sales did come from the complementary types of products where you also stand out because not many of your competitors do what you do. So suddenly
Right.
you are still a sloth lover's product as an
Right.
example, but no one else looks like your sloth cup as an
Right.
example. So don't you love my
Yeah.
examples?
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't let the like competitors or the other price deter us from targeting them. I mean, as it's important to continually optimize your PPC, and so I just got rid of a bunch of things the other day that hasn't sold, so I shut off a bunch, and then I'm always creating new. I'm always looking for new products in the niche that we're selling in, what's new, and I immediately begin targeting them. So I think that's important. You have to constantly be aware of what's going on in your niche, and you have to be watching what's coming out, and who your competitors are. And don't be afraid to buy their product, because I mean, you have to know what your competitors are selling, especially if they come out and they copy something like we had. They did something similar. It wasn't our design. As soon as I seen it, because I'm looking every day, I was like, I'm buying this. I have to see what this is and how it, compares to ours. And
And
so,
what possible hidden gift could be in there that you don't know about, or what are hidden marketing
yes,
materials that they could have in there, and things like that
yes,
as well.
exactly. Mm-hmm.
Amazing. So first of all, Carrie, thank you so much for your time and for sharing your story.
Well, thank you.
Before I wrap up, is there anything else you want to mention? I will say that you and I are both women, and you and I we're both mums.
Yep.
And I love it also when, women come on and talk about their journey and their story, because it's not sexist in any way. I just want to tell those other women out there that, like, if I can do it, if you can do it, anyone can do it, as long as you're resilient and kick ass, obviously. But I hope this really inspires many other mums and women out there as well, because you are also shuffling a million things like I am.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I work full time still. And, even though my son is almost 18, I mean, I still, when you're working 40 hours, yep. I'm still a mom, and Amazon, as we launch more products, that's definitely becoming more time consuming and, needing more attention. And so,
and stressful. You've had a lot of stressful scenarios.
Mm-hmm, definitely. And I think you said it earlier. I think the key is that we didn't give up. So like when our first product failed, we didn't just throw in the towel and say Amazon's not for us. No, I mean, that's kind of not even in my DNA to give up. And so, I mean, even when we were having issues with this brand, that's why we were looking for, all these alternatives, because we were like, we know we have an amazing product, and we were like, we just have to figure out how to, keep the product in stock. And so once we were able to solve that problem, I mean, now we're able to go at, full speed ahead. So
I'm so excited to bring you back on in like a year from now. And we're like, yeah, we're at multiple 7 figures and we're going to go through an exit soon, because you're one of the people. The beautiful thing about me having, like, doing the one-on-one coaching is that I've been there. Like, I saw you at the beginning, and I've seen your journey, and I've seen how I've seen how you went through all these different things. That I will say that you and I did all this coaching in the beginning, that you don't really need me that much anymore, because you know what I mean? I'm still there when you have questions, but you don't need me as much, because you got all those tools also, in the beginning. And today you're figuring stuff out also, because you can get as much coaching as you want, but the real learning is really also once you start selling. So I think I gave you like that foundation, but you went through all of the experience plus that together. And today you're just spreading your wings and figuring stuff out,
Yeah, well, I mean, your knowledge always comes in handy, we'll run across something. I'll be like, oh, I gotta text Sharon. I gotta ask her about this, but it's true what you just said. I mean, we met a lot in the beginning, and you really helped us form that foundation for our brand. And we just carried on that foundation with each, additional product that we've added to this, because they're kind of replications of each other. So yeah, I mean, your advice and knowledge has been extremely useful, and I would encourage anyone to reach out to you for coaching. And but they have to be willing to listen and to implement what it is you're going to tell them, because if they're not willing to implement what you're going to tell them, then there's no point in doing it. So
I just wanted to add one more thing, is that you now basically have sort of like a team of freelancers, right?
Yes.
You have Milana doing anything to do with your graphics and your images. And then you've got My Brand Videos doing anything to do with your videos, which is Miguel and Belinda. And then you've got Sasha Gorelick as your copywriter. And I'm sure you've now also got other people doing other things, that if you ever need me, I'm here as well. But you didn't try and become a copywriter. You didn't try and become a photographer. You didn't try and become a videographer. You paid the people that know how to do that. And it's had a huge impact on your brand, because people who understood how it works. And also these people are all product people, the
Yes.
videographer people. They do videos for products. Milana does everything she does for products. Sasha writes copyright for products. You could write stuff for not products as well, but you know what I mean? You hard it out. And I think that that's important because a lot of people try and save money from the beginning and do it themselves.
Well, yeah, and that's what we did with the first brand. I think I wrote everything myself. I kind of looked at other people's, and then I kind of created my own from there. But I mean, it's a night and day difference between our spy camera detector listing to what we're doing now. I think it's important to know your strengths, and my strengths is not in graphic designing. It is not in writing a listing. It's not drawing or doing a new design. It's not any of those things. So I think I'll leave those to the professionals who will make it look professional. And I know that, yes, it's going to cost some money, but the end product is worth it, because the end product makes your product stand out from everyone else's.
Which is exactly what happened with your niche.
Yes, which is exactly what happened. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Amazing. Carrie, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your journey. I can't wait to bring you on again sometime in the future to inspire everyone, show how much you've grown. And I also thank you for sharing the struggles as well, because there is no business in this world that's 100% fairy tales and unicorns and happiness. And there's always struggle in business, and you have to be resilient, and there's always ups and downs. And the people like you and I who make it through it and don't give up and always figure it out. I always say, everything's figure outable. You always figure it out. It's worth it in the end. And thank you for also sharing the good, the bad, and the ugly as well.
Well, thank you, Sharon, for having me on. I appreciate it. And I appreciate all your help. So
my absolute pleasure. I love your brand. All right. Thank you,
We're proud
everyone.
of it.
You did an amazing job. Bye, Carrie. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.